right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into this. We're going to show the setup, how we're putting both transducers on the unit, on the boat, and then we're going to show you the how I have my units set up, and then we're going to begin to get videos out showing you know, how those units work together, and we're going to show you a lot of techniques and ways to use them together, and also how to not to be an information overload. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So first, let's get into it. Let's take a look at the transducer. It's on a live foot pole, good strong pole, and it carries them just fine. I've used them nonstop, and I really like them. So let's get into this and take a look at it right now. So here we are. We have the live foot pole mounted to my Garmin force trolling motor. It's mounted on this right here. And what we do is we have both of the units running down. I decided to put the perspective mode on top and the forward mode on the bottom. And the reason is I'm thinking, and I have been confirmed by some tests I've done on the water, that I'm trying to eliminate these two crossing paths. Being that this is going to be more of a shallower mode up here in the perspective, shooting at the top of the water column, this one will be shooting, 20 degrees width, but more out and down. I'm trying to keep them from crossing paths as much as possible. Now you could put this on bottom, but you'll notice as it's shooting upwards or toward the water surface, and then this one would have been up here shooting down, so there's a lot more chance of them crossing. So I put them here. I'm using the Summit mount up top, and I'm using the actual DD26 mount because I didn't have another Summit mount to put at the bottom. But using the DD26 mount that come with the live foot right here. And so by having them right here, I'm able to have. Now, one thing I noticed was, and I'm going to cover this in a different video, this right here is only about right there in the water column, so it's barely covered. So heavy waves, I was starting to see this come out of the water just a little bit. We got pretty heavy waves today. But one thing that I did notice was, and we'll talk about in another video, was how clear the image was with this very, very high in the water column. So that's something we can talk about. But with the live foot, you can simply drop this down and lower and higher in the water as we need. So that's how we have that set up on the pole. We'll take a look at it from the front. And although slightly off-centered, it's really close, just within a little bit. It's not too bad, but it's pretty close, and you'll see. So whatever I see in this, and that's some of the stuff we'll talk about as we get to those videos, whatever I see with this in the 135 degree viewing area, then I can hone into it with the forward view, forward mode. So let's take a look at the units now and how I have them stacked up now. Let's just see how we've got those. I have my covers on them. I'm not going to take them off, but what I've done is I have the same mount that I've used forever with the 1222 right here. This is it. I had the 1222 mounted straight to this XHD mount. Now I went ahead and got this plate, which allows a dual mount. You can actually buy the plates that do triple mounts, and I staggered it, putting the 943 here and the 1222 here. The 1222 will show the forward, and this, the 943 XSV, until I get another 1222, will show the perspective mode. The reason I chose that particular configuration in each using that is because this is for finding, this is for honing in. So we're using the forward to hone in. So I want the bigger screen, because I don't have two big screens, we're going to use the bigger screen right now for the forward, and this one for finding in the perspective. When I'm using it, for example, looking at cypress trees and therefore things like that, I'll be able to see it and then really dial it in. So if it's off to the side of that, I'll be able to rotate it, the live foot, and then line that forward mode up and really focus in, especially when throwing swim baits, crankbaits, things of that nature, and using these in conjunction. And we're going to talk about that more in other videos. So I've got them with a little staggered mount, smaller unit for the perspective, larger unit for the forward at this moment in time, mounted on the 943, mounted on the live foot. And if you see some loose wires here, I'm doing a little rewiring, changing it to a 36 volt trolling motor, but that's a whole different story. So, and I've got it over the top, bridged over the top of my pedal, So, and it doesn't get in the way. I wondered after fishing it today or in the last couple of days whether or not it would get in the way of my pedal, and it has, guys. So that is the setup, and that is how it, you have to be very careful in a couple of different things. Just when you're storing it, making sure you don't pinch no wires, take your time, be cautious, and things like that. But this is going to be real advantageous to the kind of fishing I do. It can be very advantageous. And, you know, I'm thankful and blessed to be able to have two. They're not both mine. One of them is a friend of mine's, but he let me use it because he is not using it. So I have a good friend there, and I do appreciate that. But it's going to really help having it on that live foot pole so I can be able to set that spot lock. A lot of people claim, oh, I don't want it because I can't use, you know, I want on my trolling motor range. That live foot is fast, but it's strong, so it can handle two transducers. So it works wonderful. So this whole setup is going to be one awesome setup, and I've used it a couple days, and we're going to start getting those videos out and things like that. So everything looks good so far. I'm really happy with it so far. The only thing I noticed was the depth in the water, but I figured a little something out with it having that perspective mode really high in the water column. It may actually help where you don't have to adjust the angle quite as much, and you're able to get a little bit of wider viewing area. So that could be something that we could really focus on and go forward. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of good stuff coming. We got the rod series. We got some announcements on the fishing line. We got a lot of stuff coming. So this page is really starting to grow and blowing up. And don't forget, I'm going to be at PTG in Grenada. Come by and see me. I'll be there for 2 days. I'm going to be going to Lake Fork on Friday. So lots of good stuff coming. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Ring the bell.